Feilu Novel Network Exclusive Contract Novel. I really didn't know you were divine beasts. I have never seen the road dust of Pokémon travel to the world of Pokémon. He thought this was a Western fantasy world because it was filled with magical beasts that could spew fire and water. He lived an ordinary life on a small island and also subdued several weak magic pets. A Western dragon named Kuailong, just like a silly one. A demon pet named Gulaton, who constantly thinks about how to ascend to heaven and is so weak that it cannot defeat itself. A good-looking magic pet that can only be used for viewing, called Gaioka. Until one day, he left the small island where he lived and came to the outside world. He saw a boy wearing a duckbill cap with a thing known to all ages in his past life lying on his shoulder. Pikachu. Chen was bewildered and finally realized that he was not traveling through the Western fantasy world, but rather the magical treasure world. Other machinesFeilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. I have two extremely weak magic pets, seeking. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Pokémon World. The intersection of the Kanto and Fangyuan Sea areas. There is an ordinary island. There is a simple and unadorned wooden house on the island. The wooden house is surrounded by a simple fence to form a small courtyard. On the island, birds sing and flowers are fragrant, with a colorful and vibrant color. As the morning sun had just risen, a young man pushed open the door of the wooden house and walked out. Holding the prepared food in his hand, he placed it on the ground. Dinner's ready. The sound of wings fluttering came, and a creature with an orange-yellow body, a white belly with stripes, a small pointed horn on the top of the head, two dragon whiskers on the forehead, and a pair of small fleshy wings behind it flew down. At the same time, a creature nearly 1 meter tall with red scales and black stripes between the gaps of the scales walked over leisurely. Two creatures came to their feeding bowl, big and quick. The young people distributed the remaining food into a trough and fed it to the rest of the creatures in their territory. Lying on the lounge chair, enjoying the early morning tipsy. The road dust is incredibly comfortable. Unconsciously, I have been in this world for more than half a year now. This kind of life is really comfortable, the air in this Western fantasy world is really fresh, and this primitive environment cannot be found on Earth at all. Not bad. Chen is not from this world. He was plagued by illness in his past life and spent almost 18 years in the hospital room. Knowing that his time was running out, he eventually wanted to go and see the world. At the last moment of his life, he saved the little girl who was about to die under the runaway truck, while himself fell into a pool of blood. When I woke up again, I had already arrived at this small island. I have recovered from my illness and also awakened the so-called system. As for why he was convinced that this was a Western fantasy world. That's because there are many strange creatures on my island. Some of them can spray fire, some can spray water, some can use leaves to attack, and some can use energy cannons. Some can even change the terrain. It is exactly the same as the Western fiction he read in his previous life. This makes him very excited. In his past life, due to his illness, he was unable to receive any radiation, so electronic products were not compatible with him. He usually only passed the time with paper books. He is particularly fond of reading published online novels. I yearned for the world depicted in the novel, but never expected it to truly come true. He was the only one on this island, so he didn't hesitate to make it his territory. Now he has also subdued 2 warcraft. This makes him a bit depressed, only 2. Through the system's probing function, he also learned the names of the 2 warcraft he had tamed. The monster that looks like a Western dragon is called a velociraptor. The demon beast, which is red in color and extremely ferocious, is called Gulaton. Watching other monsters on the island eating energy food not far away. Chen felt a bit frustrated, but it wasn't that he didn't want to tame other warcraft. But on the island, except for the velociraptor and Gulaton, all other warcraft animals looked down upon them. Every time I approach, I look at myself with cold and disdainful eyes, and then run away. Ah, maybe I'm too weak. Chen sighed. He was wearing it. According to the novel, people in the Western fantasy world can also practice, but he cannot. Only powerful people can tame powerful magic pets. So it's normal for these warcraft to look down on themselves. As for the fact that Gulaton and raptors will be subdued by themselves, it may be because they are the weakest on this island. Kuailong, like a silly person, likes to cause damage when he has nothing to do. Last time, Chen watched it run into the sea to play, but was hit by a wave and almost drowned. It's simply iron and silly. There is also Gulaton, who is only tall enough to reach his chest. If it doesn't blow, it's not black. If it doesn't spew fire and relies solely on hand-to-hand combat, you can lift it up and fight it yourself. Moreover, this guy likes to bounce around every day and likes to step on his left foot. Every time Chen sees this naughty operation, he wants to give Gulaton a whole sentence. What's wrong? Step on your right foot with your left foot, do you want to go to heaven? It's just two oddities, two fools. Ah, I want to conquer the iron armor Tyrannosaurus Rex. Chen sighed helplessly. The iron-armored Tyrannosaurus Rex was really handsome and strong. The last hit knocked down a small hill. Why do you just look down on me? Why do you just look down on me so disdainfully? Chen sighed again. On the side. Gulaton rolled his eyes wildly, looking at Chen like he was mentally disabled. Does this mean looking down on you? Is this disrespectful of you? Don't suggest donating your eyes. This is clearly in awe of you, not daring to desecrate you. Gulaton also felt that Chen's was a terrifying existence, full of laws all over his body, and the power of laws filled his whole body. It's strange that ordinary elves dare to approach. Because the rules on Chen's body are really terrifying, all the rules are integrated into one. Compared to being an ordinary person, does he dare to approach the gods? Following Chen's side for half a year, constantly observing and feeling the fire and earth laws that are countless times stronger than oneself. It can feel that its strength, which has been stagnant for nearly 1,000 years, is improving. And, in addition to observing the laws of fire, it also constantly feels the laws of flight. It wants to fly, very much. I've been thinking for tens of thousands of years. In the dust of the road, it saw the dawn of flight. Gulaton also looked at the fast dragon beside him. Gulaton is somewhat speechless, as he is a divine beast that can sense the laws on Chen's body. Kuailong couldn't feel it. This guy was really silly, accidentally becoming the little elf of Chen. Then, being fed back by the laws of Chen, my understanding of the laws skyrocketed. Although the level of Kuailong is only around level 50, the opponent's understanding of dragon-based rules is not inferior to some level 3 divine beasts. The potential is simply infinite. The perception of the power of the law in half a year is no less than that of a third-level divine beast. If it were to be spread, those third-level divine beasts would all die in shame. Although complaining on the lips. However, Chen's heart was very peaceful, having experienced life and death in his past life, and he had a very indifferent attitude towards everything. Gulaton and Kuailong are also quite good. If it's weak, it's a bit weak. Just take it as if you have raised 2 Ding, is the task released. Randomly cultivate the task release. Lead your magic pet to perform a special training of 100 frog jumps and 100 squats. Surprisingly, a mission has arrived. Chen was a bit surprised, and his system is also very Buddhist. The last time he released a task was 3 months ago. The task reward rewards one's own way of making energy food. I didn't expect to release the task again after 3 months. Gulaton, Long, let's go, special training. Gulaton's eyes suddenly widened, excitement filled his nose, and the scales on his back emitted a slight red light. Has special training finally started again? Every special training is when Chen imparts his understanding of the rules to them. Also known as preaching. Last time, Gulaton had already gained a lot, and recently he has just digested the insights and principles he taught last time. This time, he is confident in breaking through the power bottleneck that has been stagnant for thousands of years. New book release, pets.A mon is very niche and has a limited audience. I'm not sure if readers can accept this approach, and I'm a bit nervous. Flower review tickets are particularly important for new books. If you like them and find them appealing, please do it. PS2, Full Version Introduction. I have never seen the world.He mon travel to the world of pets.A mon. He thought this was a Western fantasy world because it was filled with magical beasts that could spew fire and water. He lived an ordinary life on a small island and also subdued several weak magic pets. A Western dragon named Kuailong, just like a silly one. A demon pet named Gulaton, who constantly thinks about how to ascend to heaven and is so weak that it cannot defeat itself. A good-looking magic pet that can only be used for viewing, called Gaioka. Until one day, he left the small island where he lived and came to the outside world. He saw a boy wearing a duckbill cap with a thing known to all ages in his past life lying on his shoulder. Pikachu. Chen was bewildered and finally realized that he was not traveling through the Western fantasy world, but rather the magical treasure world. He mechanically turned his head and looked back at the pile of weak and explosive magic pets he had subdued. You are all divine beasts. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. Gulaton's excitement. You are listening at novel full.audio. Chen brought Gulaton and Kuailong to a vacant land on the island. The last task was 100 squats. This time it was 100 frog jumps and 100 squats. However, 100 times can also be called special training. This may be a misunderstanding of the word special training. Alas, indeed my demon pet is very weak. Even the system has only given such a weak chicken task. After the last 100 squats, Gulaton and Kuailong collapsed on the ground for most of the day. It is actually a weak chicken. Chen said he can make hundreds of them, okay. Warm up first and do 100 squats. Gulaton and Kuailong nodded and began squatting. Chen sat on the stone beside him, nodding slightly. This time it was quite good, there was progress, and he had already done 10 without gasping for breath. Last time, after doing more than 10, they had to take a break for each time. Gulaton was extremely excited in his heart. With each squat he made, the rules on Chen's body transmitted mysterious information, which was the knowledge already taught last time. It took 3 months and it has already absorbed about 70.8%. This time is equivalent to reviewing, and the other party is checking and filling in their own gaps. As it continued to squat, the laws of the earth on Chen's body were constantly fluctuating. A heaven and earth truth rises from my heart. Some obscure and unclear places suddenly became clear. Gulaton's own laws of the earth are constantly improving and growing. Click, click, click. The sound of shackles breaking echoed from within. Boom boom. The earth is trembling, and the entire island is shaking. Earth, did an earthquake occur? Chen was almost shaken off a stone. But this vibration comes and goes quickly. Gulaton opened his eyes. I grinned and felt an unparalleled excitement in my heart. Breakthrough has been made. The bottleneck that has troubled me for thousands of years is gone. Strange thing, was it an earthquake just now? How do you feel like it's an illusion? Chen muttered a sentence. Gulaton quickly put away his small pride in his heart, just breaking through the bottleneck. What's there to be proud of? Just now, it was excited because it broke through, and its own abilities were not well controlled. As a divine beast of the earth, its breaking motion is enough to destroy this island. However, the laws of the earth on Lu Chen's body trembled slightly, suppressing the commotion caused by his breakthrough. Compared to the big shot in front of me, the laws of the earth that I have mastered are just a drop in the ocean. What's so proud of? It looked at the nearby Kuailong, whose body was surrounded by the laws of the dragon system, and the sound of dragon chants echoed. The dragon's power on Kuailong is also constantly increasing. Gulaton was a bit envious. The other party was different from him. The other party had not yet embarked on the path of the law, while his own path of the law had already reached the level of a divine beast. If you haven't encountered road dust, it's already considered the end of the road. The rules have been fixed, and one can only fill and make up for their shortcomings by understanding the laws of Lu Chen. This is like an already built ditch, and Gulaton can only clean up the waste and garbage in the ditch now. After clearing the ditch, we can start widening it, but it is unknown how much it can be widened. And Kuailong was just starting to build ditches, and as for how big it was built, it all depends on the rules it comprehends. It could be a small ditch, or it could be a large river that connects to the sky. But what Kuailong perceives is the most essential power of laws in Lu Chen's body. Perhaps Kuailong's future path is a small ditch. As the fast dragon continued to squat, its dragon power was strong, and the most ancient dragon chant could be heard from time to time in the rules of the dragon system. And these road dust is invisible. Foolish guy, come on, there are still 3 more. He is cheering on Kuailong. 98, 99, 100. In the end, after completing the squat, Kuailong's understanding of the dragon system rules remained at the peak of the 3rd level divine beast position. Kuailong sat on the ground exhausted. Well done. Lu Chen patted Kuailong's head. Kuailong chuckled foolishly and scratched his head with his small paw. Looking at Kuailong with a tired face. Lu Chen is not in a hurry for the next special training, there are only 100 frog jumps left in the special training task. It's still early, not urgent. This special training is not very useful, he doesn't believe that doing 100 deep squats or 100 frog jumps can make Kuailong and Gulaton stronger. Don't joke, if we could become stronger, wouldn't all the old park men in our past lives be superheroes? He went for the system reward after completing the task. I rested in place for a while. Continue with the special training. Road dust road. Next are 100 frog jumps. I watched the frog jumping movements demonstrated by Lu Chen to them. Gulaton and Kuailong exchanged a glance, and then began a special training program called Frog Jump. They have their paws on their backs, their legs bent, feeling the strong force of their legs and jumping forward suddenly. The 2 beasts let out a muffled groan from their mouths. Pain. Heavy. Gulaton felt like he was pressed against a huge mountain, and all his muscles were being squeezed. It felt very terrifying and once again recognized the gap between itself and Lu Chen. It is the god of the earth, standing on the ground, it can continuously draw the power of the earth. At this point, its sense of the earth disappears. Holding back the pain, it jumped forward again. This time it felt different. As it jumps up, a strand of the power of the law surrounding Lu Chen's body will enter its legs, fiercely tearing apart its leg muscles. It felt it for a while. Then he was overjoyed. The law of the wind, or rather the law of flight. Is this second special training teaching the principles of flight system? This opportunity must be seized. This pain is nothing. Gulaton was fully focused and immersed in his own reflection. With each jump, the muscles in its legs are fiercely torn apart by the laws of flight, and then repaired by a mysterious force. While the laws of flight tear apart muscles, there are also some mysterious things that blend into its body. 1 step. 2 steps. 5 steps. 10 steps. 50 steps. At 50 steps, it began to slow down. It is comprehending the laws of flight that are integrated into the body. As for the other side, Kuailong is much more miserable. Oh, oh, oh. The fast dragon leaped forward with all its might, and its mouth still let out bursts of screams and screams. Because its own attributes are related to the dragon and flying systems. So it is born in accordance with the laws of flight. I have already jumped about 50 times. Looking at Kuailong with tears streaming down his face, he let out a scream in his mouth. Chen's throat was speechless. Is there such pain? Jumping a frog is like taking one's life. This once again proves that these two magic pets are weak chickens. Come on, you're the best. However, as a considerate owner, Chen is cheering them on. A white horse passes through a gap. Time flies into the evening, as the sun sets in the west. Kuailong and Gulaton looked tired, and with each step forward, sweat would leave a stain on the ground beneath their feet. Dong! They took another step forward. There's one last step, come on. The two beasts nodded and gathered their last bit of strength inside. Bend your knees and exert force on your legs. Jump suddenly. Suddenly, the sky is high and birds fly, while the sea is wide and fish leap. All restraints have disappeared, and the heavy tide on the body has receded. A kind of enlightenment rises in my heart. The fast dragon spread its wings and rose up, feeling unprecedentedly light and incredibly light. It feels that as long as it gently flaps its wings, it can instantly reach the place within its sight. On the little flesh wings of the fast dragon, a pitch-black pattern flashed away. As for Gulaton, as it regained contact with the earth, it felt the existence of a subtle law within its own body. Even does it feel like it can fly. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Gulaton. I can fly now, find that one. You are listening at novel full.audio. That flight system rule has been completely mastered by it. It feels like it can fly now. It's like an innate instinct. With a movement of thought, a gust of wind rises from the soles of the feet. It rises from the ground as a whole. Gulaton suddenly became excited and could really fly. But because I was too excited, I couldn't balance and fell to the ground. Hear the commotion. Chen turned to look at Gulaton, who had fallen behind him, and said, "What's wrong? Are you okay? Are you tired?" "It's okay. We'll go back and rest right away." Kuailong held his small belly and mocked Gulaton. Gulaton was embarrassed, he was actually embarrassed in front of such a terrifying existence. It glared fiercely at the Kuailong, who was mocking it recklessly, and really wanted to give it a cliff sword. Let's wait until there is no one around before conducting the experiment. It's night. Moonlight sprinkles lightly, and stars dot the Milky Way. Exhausted, Kuailong lay in front of the wooden house, his saliva flowing all over the ground, and he was soundly sleeping. Chen has also fallen asleep, and his previous life's routine has made him accustomed to going to bed early. The coast of the island. A crimson figure slowly rose into the air and finally stopped in mid-air. It's Gulaton. My long-standing wish of nearly 10,000 years has finally been realized, and I will no longer be ridiculed or fly. The excitement in its heart couldn't be contained, and it was eager to find someone to share it with. As for Chen, let's forget about it. In front of this big shot, I dare not pretend to be forced. Forget about the silly dragon, this is just a silly guy. Who are you looking for? Looking at the calm sea. Gulaton tilted his head and thought for a moment. The stinky fish seemed to have a nest in this sea area. I was bullied when I had a fight with it in the water last time. Go seek revenge. No, share the joy. It, standing 1 meter tall, stepped into the sea. In an instant, the body size grew rapidly. In an instant, it transformed into a huge creature the size of a small mountain. A massive body moves in the sea. Every step stirs up stormy waves on the sea surface. I walked for a long time. It was stunned. The body has shrunk again. I can even fly by myself, and even walk in the sea of farts, fly directly. Soaring into the air, flying to the end of the sea. The next day. The weather is clear, the blue sky is vast, and the sea surface is sparkling. Chen opened the door. Kuailong was chasing butterflies on the grass in front of the yard, and accidentally fell. Chen is speechless, this silly guy. It's time for dinner. Place the large plate containing the magic pet food on the ground, and then place the excess magic pet food in the shared large food trough on the island. This is the life he has been living continuously every day for the past 6 months. Hey, Han Long, where's Gulaton? Chen asked in confusion. Kuailong tilted its neck, thought for a moment, shook its head to indicate that it didn't know. When it saw the rice bowl next to Gulaton, it glanced at Chen and saw that Chen didn't look at itself. It quietly used its paws to pull the rice bowl in front of it. Then he saw Chen looking over, turning his head to the side, pretending to see the scenery, and whistling in his mouth. Chen is covered in black lines, this silly guy. Gulaton is missing. Chen is not nervous either. This is not the first time, Gulaton sometimes disappears and I don't know what to do. Probably playing on the island. Eat and drink enough. The weather is nice today. Let's go fishing at the beach. Returning to the house, he picked up the simple fishing rod he had made himself, and Chen walked with Kuailong towards the seaside. In no time one person, one pet came to the seaside. I'll go. It's sunny today. There's no rainstorm or typhoon. What's the matter? Chen was a bit confused. The sea surface, which should have been calm, is now turbulent with shockwaves crashing onto the shore, exceptionally fierce. The entire coast collapsed in this raging wave. There are more eddies on the sea surface, devouring everything floating on the surface. This scene is like a giant hand constantly stirring the sea. Perhaps this is the world of Western fantasy. Originally, it was said that the weather was good today and it was suitable for fishing, but it seems like it has been ruined. Han Long, let's go and pick the tree fruits. He said to Kuailong. Tree fruits are the raw materials for making magic pet food, and they are almost sold out. If you can't fish, then go pick tree fruits. One person and one pet left the coast. At the same time. The sea area is about a few hours away from the island. Roar. The roar of beasts shook the sky. On the sea, 2 huge figures like mountains are confronting each other. A blue-bodied whale with a body shape resembling a giant whale, fins resembling a pair of huge wings, and symmetrical ribbon-shaped objects on both sides of its tail. Its trunk has red stripes. It's like the embodiment of the ocean. Looking at it, it's like facing the entire ocean like a Buddha. In contrast to its fierce competition, it is a huge and ferocious existence, covered in red scales and armor, with sharp claws and black stripes on its trunk. Its whole body emitted a fiery red light, and its body flowed like magma, boiling the surrounding seawater. If Chen were here, he would definitely look confused. Isn't this my favorite Gulaton? It's just an enlarged version. But if a scholar studying the ancient history of pets.A mon is here, they will definitely recognize him as the god of the earth, Gulaton, the owner of the power of the earth. And that whale is the god of the ocean, the sea emperor's tooth, also known as Gaioka, the owner of ocean power. Roar. A muffled sound. With a flick of Gaioka's fin, a huge vortex rose around Gulaton's body, enveloping him and attempting to devour him. Gulaton let out a low growl, his expression calm, his whole body trembling, his feet communicating with the earth, and directly triggered the earthquake. Boom boom. The sea tilted and triggered a huge tsunami, causing the vortex to collapse. Under the control of Gulaton, the ground on the seabed continued to rise and eventually transformed into a platform for it to stand on. Gulaton stood on the platform, his momentum exploding recklessly, giving off an unusually heavy feeling. Its eyes even carried a tinge. Feeling the aura of Gulaton, Gaioka was stunned. Is the first-level divine beast at its peak? Has this stinky crawler broken through the bottleneck? No wonder you dare to be so arrogant and come knocking on your door to cause trouble. However, what if we break through the bottleneck? It's in the ocean, not on the ground. And Gulaton has a fatal flaw. That means you can't fly. The only skill that can hit the flying series is the cliff sword, which is in the sea and cannot harm oneself at all. With a flick of its wing-like fins, Gaioka flew up. Being awakened by his own dream, and even being teased by Gulaton, the key was that the other party broke through, which made Gaioka very unhappy. So what about breakthroughs? In the air, I am invincible. Seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, please. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. The Stupid Guy, Gulaton. Stupid. You are listening at novel full.audio. Gaioka stirred up huge fish fins and lifted them into the air, causing pouring rain in the sky and the sky to tilt downwards. This is Gaioka's ability. Feeling the boldness of Gulaton's release, Gaioka was actually somewhat dazed. The first-level divine beast is at its peak. Previously, their levels were the same, both being higher-level divine beasts. Less than 100 years since the last meeting, the other party has surprisingly broken through the bottleneck. And I don't even know when I can break through. This makes Gaioka unable to accept it. The earth and the ocean are natural enemies. Their strength has always been evenly matched, and they have been fighting for tens of thousands of years. Suddenly, the balance was disrupted and he became a relatively weak side, which made Gaioka very uncomfortable. Feeling the thud of Gulaton, it felt a bit annoyed. Even if it's a small level up, it's still not a match for oneself in the ocean. Moreover, Gulaton cannot fly, and he has long been invincible. Hoo-hoo. The terrifying water rushing up one by one, the sky shrouded in dark clouds, and thunder snakes shimmered. Countless water tornadoes and formations linger behind Gaioka. These water hoses are heading towards Gulaton for encirclement. Gulaton stomped the ground suddenly and launched another earthquake, causing the underwater earth to tremble and the sea to shake violently, causing turbulence in the water flow. The water hose rolled and scattered. Energy surged on Gaioka's body, and a huge water cannon shot out from his mouth. Gulaton opened his mouth and spat out a huge beam of fire. The two cancel each other out, transforming into a vast expanse of water vapor, which is then washed away by rainwater. The sea beneath Gaioka suddenly emitted a blazing red light. Pop boom. Like a volcanic eruption, a huge, crimson, magma-emitting sword breaks through the sea and rushes straight into the sky, as if it can shatter the sky. The power is incredibly strong. The Sword of the Cliff. The exclusive skill of Gulaton. It is also one of the few skills that Gulaton can use to defeat flying elves. Gaioka seemed to have anticipated it earlier, and with a flick of his fin, he dodged. The two have been fighting for tens of thousands of years, and the opponent's moves and tactics have long been understood. This is the only cliff sword that can harm oneself. It has been used for tens of thousands of years and has been worn out. Do you still want to hit yourself? Isn't this a joke? Gaioka flapped her wings gently and flew around Gulaton from a distance. What if we break through? I can't fly yet. It's good to go anywhere, we still have to take the sea route. Every time Gaioka flaunts his flying skills in front of Gulaton, he can make the other person half angry. But this time, it found that Gulaton didn't jump with anger. Where are the people? It found that Gulaton's figure had disappeared. This big one, where did it go? Suddenly, a huge shadow enveloped me. It turned its head and saw a bright red paw constantly magnifying in front of it. Bang bang. A tremendous force struck, and Gaioka's entire body was captured in the water. The entire sea area surged with huge waves, causing nearly 100 meters high splashes of water. Gaioka emerged from the water and looked at Gulaton floating in the sky, completely bewildered. Fly, fly. Mastering the laws of the earth and the fire system, the owner of the power of the earth, Gulaton, flew away. Is this still a divine beast of the earth? Then, it became a spirit, and the opponent's level was higher than its own, and it could also fly. So next, Gulaton hammered Gaioka. Although Gaioka also resisted, it was still Gaioka who was more hammered. In a few tens of minutes the accumulated grievances of tens of thousands of years were swept away. Gulaton patted his buttocks and happily slipped away. Only a skeptical Gaioka remained. Gaioka is fine, both of them have reserved their hands and have not used all their strength or rules in battle. If we use the law, it would be a life and death battle, where the mainland will be submerged by seawater and the sea will be occupied by the mainland. The battle of the first-level divine beast is destructive to heaven and earth. The neighboring Fangyuan and Kanto regions may both face destruction. Mainly, once they start a big battle, the dragon in the sky will come down to fight. The key way to persuade the fight is: you guys are fighting, right? As long as I cripple you all, you won't be able to fight anymore. When they arrived, they were beaten up, and each time they were beaten to the point of recovery, they had to recuperate for decades or even hundreds of years to recover. Cleopatra is the god of the sky and the owner of sky authority. The sky is much larger than the ocean and the earth. So they can't beat the cracked seats together. Over time, Gulaton and Sea Emperor Fong will no longer engage in legal conflicts, and their meetings will only be ordinary fights. On the island, Chen and Kuailong had a bountiful harvest and quickly picked the ripe tree fruits. Store the tree fruits well. He arrived at the garden he had opened himself. What is planted here are some plants similar to millet, as well as things like vermilion, and crops that resemble rice but are several times larger in size. These are all activation systems obtained from the beginner gift package. Like rice, it's something you eat yourself. Part of it is mixed with tree fruits to make energy food for Warcraft to eat. These crops mature almost every 3 days, and some mature once a week, with strong vitality, so there will not be a situation of food shortage. The crop garden is very large and has 3 parts of land. It took almost 2 hours to finally clear the weeds in the garden. Excuse me, just like last time, we don't need too much water. Chen looked at a group of Warcraft that could spray water not far away. They nodded and sprayed a shower of water from their mouths to irrigate the crop garden. Thank you. Put the homemade Warcraft snacks on the ground, but no Warcraft is willing to come over. Ah, it seems that it's still not working. You still dislike me. Chen retreated a long distance before they cheerfully picked up the Warcraft snacks on the ground. Sitting on the grass, wiping the sweat off my forehead, this fulfilling life is really good. By the way, it seems like I haven't received any rewards. He suddenly remembered that he had not yet received the system reward for completing the special training task yesterday. With a thought, I realized that there was indeed a wrapped pattern on the system panel. Seeking fresh flowers and evaluation votes, these two are particularly important for the new book. Please be so cool. Chapter 5. Mysterious Tree, the First Battle of the Fast Dragon. You are listening at novel full.audio. With a thought, the virtual gift box on the system interface opened. The gift box shone brightly, and a mechanical reminder sound appeared in the ear. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the mysterious tree. A sapling about 10 centimeters high appeared in Chen's hand. It looks ordinary, but upon closer inspection, you will find that under the sunlight, the emerald green leaves are like jade carvings. Very exquisite, semi-transparent in the sunlight, with clear and visible patterns, like the masterpieces of nature. Even Lu Chen saw some semi-transparent mist sealed inside the leaves. Upon obtaining this mysterious little tree, the system also provided relevant information. Mysterious tree. Only when fully grown can one know the specific species, and the sapling prefers places near water sources. Growth cycle. 1 month, do you only know what variety it is after growing up? Need to be close to water sources. This is quite simple. The crop garden was developed next to a small lake. Plant the mysterious small tree and pat the dust on your hands. Let's go, Han Long. He faced the Kuailong Dao, who was squatting on the ground and playing on his own. 1 person and 1 pet left the crop garden. Oh, have the waves stopped? Passing by the seaside, Lu Chen found that the raging sea had returned to calm this morning. The sea is shimmering with waves and the sea breeze is warm. The tide receded, and the coast was muddy, leaving behind shells on the ground. Looking at the muddy beach, Lu Chen rolled up his pants, took off his shoes, and came to a small hole on the beach. Gently probing downwards, a creature resembling a skinned shrimp was caught. In addition to Warcraft, there are also some ordinary creatures in this Western fantasy world. Looking at the struggling skinned shrimp in his hand, Lu Chen showed a faint smile and said, Han Long, let's go to the sea and have seafood rice tonight. As soon as he heard the word eat, the dragon's saliva suddenly flowed out. 1 person and 1 dragon started picking shells, catching shrimp and crabs on the beach. Soon, the harvest was full. Just about to leave. Chi. Water splashed everywhere, and a red figure emerged from the sea, snatching away a shrimp from Kuailong's hand. Seeing his hands empty, Kuailong was taken aback and then shouted low at the red figure on the beach. A red fish, resembling a carp, swallowed the snatched shrimp in 1 gulp and then jumped on the beach. Lu Chen also learned the name of this creature through his exploration function. Carp King. Is this also a Warcraft? The probing function of the system only works for Warcraft. Looking at the Carp King who could only jump, Lu Chen touched his chin. It seems very weak and lacks any aggressiveness. Looking at the strongly dissatisfied Kuailong again. He remembers that the Warcraft on his own island would also frequently engage in battles, using magic to fight each other until they were clicked. But my 2 magic pets, Kuailong and Gulaton, have not competed with other Warcraft in the past 6 months. Lu Chen speculates that it may be because the 2 of them are too weak, and the other monsters on the island are too strong. If they compete, they will be injured. This Carp King looks very weak. Lu Chen said, Han Long, do you want to try fighting it? Kuailong's eyes lit up, without any hesitation, and he nodded wildly. This reaction further confirmed Lu Chen's thoughts. Indeed, Han Long was too weak to compete with other monsters on the island, afraid of hurting himself. Upon hearing that Lu Chen was making him fight, Kuailong was very excited and suffocated. Gulaton told it not to fight on the island and not to use skills to cause damage, otherwise it would displease Lu Chen. So it has been very careful on the island. Today, finally able to unleash its strength, it spewed 2 rough breaths from its nostrils and looked at the Carp King jumping on the beach. Dare to steal my things and accept sanctions. The waves came and brought the Carp King back into the sea, as if feeling the fighting spirit of the quick dragon. The Carp King did not leave, and a pair of dead fish looked at the quick dragon expressionlessly, spitting out a stream of water from his mouth, provoking the quick dragon. Kuailong seemed to have suffered a huge insult. Come on. Lu Chen compared the body types of the 2 and added, remember it's a sparring. Kuailong nodded, okay, then give it a small punishment. Just use Dragon Wrath. The battle begins. Just as the quick dragon wanted to punish the Carp King, it felt like there were shackles all over its body that bound it. I am completely powerless, unable to lift my wings, and unable to use all my skills. It estimates that the strength it can use now is similar to that of the Carp King. You don't need to look at it, you know it's the master behind you who caused the trouble. Come on, you're not afraid of even a fish, are you? Look, they're spraying water and provoking you again. Chen turned his head to look at his Kuailong Dao, and for some reason, he felt that Kuailong's gaze seemed to carry a hint of resentment. Watching the Carp King constantly spitting water at him, Kuailong was so angry that he wanted to go down and beat it up. It took a step forward with a fierce momentum, but as soon as its foot touched the water, it immediately recoiled in fear. It is naturally afraid of water. Water is too dangerous. Forget it, let's not go into the water. Since the skill cannot be used, the wings have also been sealed. So Kuailong lowered his head, bent down, and inserted his claws into the sand. The movements are coherent and complete in one go. Look at me throwing sand. With both claws pulling, a cluster of sand was thrown onto the body of the Carp King. That's it, one spits water and the other splashes sand. Chen. You are truly worthy of it. He was speechless, supporting his forehead. The size of the Carp King was only as big as Han Long's palm, and the two of them were evenly matched. Hot and bustling. Even if it means destroying the world, there won't be a clear winner. He once again had an intuitive feeling of Kuailong's weakness. By blinded this burly physique. Chen was too lazy to pay attention to the two of them and lowered his head to continue digging for seafood on the beach. After a while, the Kuailong and the Carp King are still fiercely fighting, evenly matched. But in an instant a white light bloomed from the body of the Carp King, completely enveloping it. The dazzling daylight was reflected all around. Chen was taken aback. What's going on? He has never seen this scene before. Conduct a survey with Sherabi. The writing style of this book is relatively light-hearted, so there will be no plot with deep grudges. Do you prefer more combat space or more cultivation and interaction space? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. The Tyrannosaurus Rex Panics, The Mystery Under the Night. You are listening at novel full.audio. The dazzling white light completely enveloped the Carp King. In the white light, the small size of the Carp King continued to expand and then transformed into a huge creature. Roar. The roar sounded, and the sound waves invaded, shaking the surrounding seawater. The white light dissipated, and Chen was stunned, his mouth slightly open. At this point, the Carp King has undergone a significant transformation. Transformed into a dragon, with 2 whiskers at the corners of its mouth, 3 upward green horns on its head, and blue scales resembling armor, emitting a metallic luster. But its tail is still the tail of a fish. His face was grim, and his crimson eyes were filled with violence. In the system exploration function, the name of the Carp King has also changed. Rampage Carp Dragon. The Chen people were all foolish. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have imagined that a weak Carp King would have transformed into his fierce appearance in a burst of white light. Evolution. A word popped out of his mind. Carps leap over the Dragon Gate. Is the evolution of the Carp King a Tyrannosaurus? The angry Tyrannosaurus Rex's mouth condensed white light. Bang 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 bang. The destruction of the dead light swept across the coast, causing a series of explosions. Giant rocks were directly shattered, and wherever it passed, the land became pitch black, with gullies emerging. Misty grass. Watching the terrifying power, Lu Chen was stunned. This. How can this evolved strength be so strong? This is too scary, isn't it? The blood-red eyes directly locked onto the fast dragon. Oh no, let's run. Lu Chen said to Kuailong. The Tyrannosaurus rex is no match for the king of carps. After evolution, its personality has become extremely cruel, flammable, and explosive. This newly evolved Tyrannosaurus has lost its rationality and only wants to destroy everything in front of it. It floated up, towering down, and the white light in its mouth condensed once again, aiming at the nearest velociraptor. Kuailong looked at Baolilong and grinned, the shackles on his body. Disappeared. A terrifying dragon power that only little elves could feel emanated from it and ran towards the Tyrannosaurus rex. The stormy carp dragon feels suffocated, and now the quick dragon's understanding of the dragon system rules is no less than that of a third-level divine beast. How can the newly evolved Tyrannosaurus rex withstand it? It's like a bucket of ice water pouring down on a dog day, and the blood red in the fierce carp longan recedes. Although it is irritable, it is not foolish. Feeling the terrifying dragon power on the fast dragon, it panics a bit. The heart has a sense of retreat, it wants to run away. However, a stronger momentum came from the side and locked it in. Apart from thinking, the whole body does not obey its own commands. On the coast, a crimson elf walked slowly over. Its eyes were like gods, causing the heart of the fierce carp dragon to tremble. This aura has only been felt by a little elf's divine beast in its lifetime. It is fortunate to have seen the incarnation of the ocean, the figure of Gaioka. The aura of this little elf is actually the same as it felt on Gaioka at first. It panicked. It's just personalized, as for it. Looking at the devastated coastline. Gulaton felt uneasy in his heart. During the time he had left, a damn elf had destroyed the coast in front of Lu Chen. It glared at Kuailong, this silly guy didn't know how to stop it. I don't know if Lu Chen will get angry. Gulaton looked at the Tyrannosaurus rex and sure enough, none of the water system elves were good things. The body of the Tyrannosaurus rex regained control, but it also dared not run and could only follow its movements. Shattering and trembling. JPG. Suddenly, it saw the road standing in the distance. It flew over with a whoosh. Roar. It let out a low roar and bent down towards Lu Chen. Startled, Lu Chen regained his senses and stared blankly at the Tyrannosaurus rex. He had a vague guess in his heart, but couldn't be sure. He asked, You want to follow me? The fierce carp dragon nodded. Lu Chen was knocked unconscious by this immense happiness. He also saw the strength of the Tyrannosaurus rex and never expected that such a powerful monster would choose to become his demon pet. Lu Chen was delighted in his heart that both the size and appearance of the Tyrannosaurus rex were in line with his aesthetics. Handsome and imposing. Moreover, the powerful strength of the Tyrannosaurus rex allows him to do more things. The Tyrannosaurus rex leaped to become the highest combat power in his hands. As for Han Long and Gulaton, he seemed to remember something and asked, Can you two still evolve? Gulaton and Kuailong shook their heads. It's okay then, you can continue to be the mascots. Kuailong. Gulaton. The feeling of being on the back disappeared, and the stormy carp dragon breathed a sigh of relief and regained its life. Let's go back. One person and 3 pets left the coast. I had a sumptuous seafood feast for dinner. Night falls again. Star-studded the night sky, dotted with stars, the Milky Way is vast. Gulaton and Kuailong were sleeping in the courtyard of the wooden house. As for the Tyrannosaurus rex, it is guarding the gate outside the yard. The night fell silent, and the island fell into a deep sleep, with only the nocturnal elves still active. Above the crop garden. Buzz. With a faint tremble, ripples appeared in the space, creating a green fluorescent aperture. A small and clever little elf emerged. It tilted its head and looked down at the ground with some confusion. My gaze focused on the mysterious little tree that Chen had just planted next to the small lake today. Because Feilu does not issue a single seal, let me explain it here. Explain why the protagonist doesn't know about Pokémon because he has never seen them before. For those of us who watch Pokémon, most of us know the elves inside. Carrots and vegetables have their own preferences, and many people don't like this type of anime. For those who haven't watched it, most only know Pokémon's biggest IP. Pikachu. Pokémon is considered niche in anime, and even for those who watch Pokémon, most of them have only seen the Kanto and Chengdu regions. Even if it's a migrant worker anime, I have friends around me who don't watch migrant worker anime like One Piece, but they only know about Luffy, Hokage 9 Tails, and Naruto. Just like me, I don't watch sports, basketball, or football. In the entire NBA, I only know about Jordan and Kobe. I won't explain it again in the future. If Sherabi can't accept it, it might be because this book doesn't suit your taste. The idea behind this book is that I went to the cinema last year to watch Pokémon's first major movie, Detective Pikachu. There was a couple next to me, and the woman was probably a fan of Pokémon. She was holding a Latisco Pikachu/Ibrahimovic NS handheld phone, but the man probably didn't watch Pokémon. At the beginning, when he saw the scene of Pokémon coming out, the man asked the woman, "Are these all Warcraft?" So at that time, a vague idea came to my mind. What would happen if someone who had never seen Pokémon but only knew about Warcraft traveled to the Pokémon world? Feilu doesn't provide a single chapter, so I'll go on, and I won't say these things again in the future chapters. Chapter 7. Injured Sherabi, seeking evaluation votes. You are listening at novel full.audio. The little elf poked its head out of the green glow and looked around with small hearts and wings. Seeing no danger, he flew out of the aperture. It is incredibly compact, with a light green body and a pair of large light blue eyes. There is also a circle of black circles around the eye sockets. Round toe-less feet, hands with only 3 delicate fingers, and a pair of wings behind them that are as light and thin as cicada wings. It is only the size of a baby's head. Pocket and exquisite. Moreover, it looks like an onion in its entirety. The little elf tilted his little head and looked at the mysterious little tree on the ground with some confusion. Compared to. Make a crisp sound in your mouth. It flew down. For some reason, in the moment it flew down, the flowers, plants, and trees on the entire island were swaying, as if they were cheering and jumping. Arrived in front of the mysterious little tree. Buzz buzz, the mysterious small tree bloomed with a jade-colored halo, like a breathing lamp, alternating light and darkness. In an instant, the same light also shone on Sherabi's body. Compare, its mouth emitted a cheerful sound, as if it had discovered something joyful. Sherabi let out a light cough and looked a bit lethargic. Through the pure white moonlight, it can be seen that its body has been injured. It landed next to the mysterious small tree, with a tall grass under it. Sherabi curled up into a ball, and the leaves of the grass closed, wrapping it up. The rising sun rises in the east. A new day has begun. While the fast dragons were eating breakfast, Chen arrived at his own crop garden and picked 4 fiery red fruits from several small trees planted in the middle of the garden. This is Zhugua. The system rewards him with only 3 plants, and each plant only bears 3 fruits per week. Zhugua is very fresh and sweet. He has eaten one before, which is 100 times more delicious than any fruit on earth. And after eating, my whole body will feel warm. I usually mix energy and food together, because with the addition of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, I have the highest combat power in my hands. This is worth celebrating. After picking the red fruits, I am about to leave. Ha! He let out a soft moan in his mouth. Beside the small lake, a small jade tree sways in the wind, surprisingly reaching a height of 30 to 40 centimeters. The height has reached the knees of Chen. The system rewards are truly extraordinary, no wonder you can fully grow in just 1 month. Habitually looking at the system, information about the mysterious little tree appeared. Mysterious little tree. Only after completing its growth can one know the specific species, and the sapling prefers places near water sources. Growth cycle. 15 days, the growth cycle is 15 days. He clearly remembered that it would take 30 days. Chen was a bit confused, couldn't it be that the previous 30 days were the growth time on the other side of the earth? The growth time of Shihuan world has been shortened by half due to its good soil and water sources. He couldn't figure out what was going on either. Chen did not delve into it, but returned to his wooden house with Zhugua in hand. The 3 Kuailong have already finished breakfast. Here, your fruit after dinner. Looking at the red fruit in Chen's hand, Kuailong's saliva flowed all over the ground, and he moved his body and ran over, his eyes filled with longing. Finally, I can eat this fruit again. Look at you like a pig. Feeling annoyed, he handed Zhugua to Kuailong, who swallowed it all in one gulp and touched his stomach, feeling satisfied. I gave Gulaton another one. This is for you, welcome to join our big family. Chen approached the Tyrannosaurus rex and placed the vermilion fruit in its feeding bowl. Smelling the fragrance of red fruits, the fierce carp dragon felt its whole body hot and eager inside. Seeing that both Gulaton and Kuailong had eaten, it swallowed them all in one gulp. In an instant, Yulong felt a warm current rushing through his body. It seems like a fire is burning, and all the impurities in one's body are burned out. Its strength is constantly increasing. In the end, the warm current inside the body was depleted. It felt it and was shocked to find that its strength had increased significantly. Yulong's pupils slightly dilated. Yesterday, it seemed like he had made the most correct choice in his life just to survive. Han Long glanced at Long with disdain in his eyes. He was a country bumpkin, he must have been dumbfounded. He had never eaten such delicious food before. Gulaton was speechless on the side. He remembered the first time he ate vermilion fruit, and it seemed that the performance of the Han dragon was even worse than that of the Tyrannosaurus rex, right? You two can have free activities today. Let's go to the beach, I want to understand your strength and the moves you know, said Chen to the Baoli dragon with the powerful combat power of the Tyrannosaurus rex. He needs to plan something. This island is incredibly huge. In the past 6 months, because he did not have a powerful demon pet in his hand, he dared not explore the island, afraid of encountering a hot-tempered demon beast. His range of activities is in the open area near his wooden house. In the distance, deep within the island, it is like a primitive forest, with ancient trees blocking the sky and sun. He plans to explore something. So, Chen took the Tyrannosaurus rex to the beach. After Chen left Bang Bang, a big tree was pushed directly to the ground. Kuailong stared blankly at his paws, not exerting any force. It started backwards. Dong Dong, take 1 step at a time. It jumped up in fear. As a result, a large pit appeared directly on the ground. Kuailong was too scared to move. What the hell was going on? It flapped its wings and a hurricane erupted on the scene. Looking at the messy lawn, Kuailong is about to cry. Does the owner punish him for not having dinner? It turned to Gulaton for help. Gulaton looked at the fast dragon. I just ate a red fruit, and the strength in my body has increased. In addition, it has been constantly comprehending the law. Even if one does not actively comprehend and stays by the roadside dust, the law will still have a subtle impact. Kuailong hasn't fought for half a year, and its internal strength is too strong. In addition, after eating a red fruit, its power loses control and it can't control it. In this situation, just find someone to fight. Roar. Gulaton explained the situation to Kuailong. Fighting. It glanced at Gulaton. Forget it, it can't be defeated. It's just silly, but not stupid. Fighting Gulaton is completely seeking abuse. As for the Tyrannosaurus Rex, it is impossible to fight it with its owner. Kuailong tilted his head and thought for a moment, as if there was a piece of land nearby. Then go there and fight. With a flap of its wings, the fast dragon soared into the sky and disappeared into the sky above the island in the blink of an eye. I flew for about half an hour. A huge piece of land appeared before its eyes. On the coast of the mainland, there is a human and one of its own kind, which is the velociraptor. That human has fiery red hair. Feeling the aura of one's own kind, very strong. Han Long's eyes lit up. Just you. Chapter 8. The Scare of Yulong Ferry. You are listening at novel full.audio. Kai City is the largest international port city in the Kanto region. The seaside of Kai City. A young man with fiery red hair was carrying a fast dragon. Yulong Ferry. The most outstanding young generation of the Yulong family. He is also the Dragon King of the Kanto region. Champion of Chengdu region. One person holds high positions in 2 regional elf alliances. This is also because both the Kanto and Chengdu regions are located on the same continent. Previously, there was no distinction between the Kanto alliance and the Chengdu alliance. But only the Guandu alliance. The mainland is really too big, and it's difficult to manage an elf alliance. So it's divided into 2 elf alliances. The Kanto Alliance and the Chengdu Alliance. In a few days, the champions from each region will come to the Kanto region to discuss some matters. A few days ago, Yulong happened to be at Dr. Daimu's place to help complete some experiments and consult literature. Jinshin town is not far from Kai City, so the alliance asked him to wait in Kai City. Only champions can be on an equal footing with champions from other regions. Of course, the meaning revealed by the alliance is sending the Heavenly King to welcome them may not be able to suppress them. After all, as champions, there will inevitably be some sparring. Walking on the coast. Yulong is a bit puzzled. How can he break through the championship level? The fast dragon of Yulong Ferry is several times larger than an ordinary fast dragon, with shiny fur and a pair of bright and lively eyes. This is his main fast dragon, which has been cultivated very well. I have been stuck in the championship level for many years, and there is no intention of breaking through. In the Yulong family, there are also legendary level fast dragons, even those that are comparable to divine beasts and reach the level of divine beasts. But the breakthroughs of these fast dragons are all natural, and it is completely unknown how they will break through. However, according to these fast dragons, after breaking through, they mastered a completely different power than before. Family members refer to these forces as the fundamental power. Mastering the power of the origin allows one to break through the championship level. There are not many records of the power of origin in the family. So I thought about coming to the world.Renowned doctor of Pokemon and the controller of the Omi family. Dr. Omi. To see if I could find anything. I consulted with Dr. Daiki. Dr. Daiki is truly a doctor who focuses on studying elves, and has countless times more information than the Yulong family. To break through the championship level, it is indeed necessary to rely on the power of the original source. Champion level and above elf battles are not simple battles, but fundamental battles. So the battle scenes of those divine beasts are so terrifying, constantly crumbling like the end of the world. If you want to understand the power of the origin, it depends on your intelligence and luck. A little elf with good intelligence may wake up one day to understand the origin. It is also possible that they will achieve nothing in their lifetime. However, there is also a way to understand the power of the origin, which is relics. Most of the relics are related to divine beasts, with the residual scent of divine beasts, which contains the origin of divine beasts. By observing, one may be able to comprehend the power of the origin. And when you hear this answer, Yulong also remembered that a divine beast-level fast dragon in his family had participated in a suspected Phoenix King ruins. Not long after returning, he broke through the championship level. He plans to investigate if there are relics after the championship council is completed. Roar, roar. The familiar yet unfamiliar roar interrupted Yulong's thoughts. The familiar thing is that this roar is the voice of a fast dragon, while the unfamiliar thing is that this voice is not emitted by one's own fast dragon. Yulong looked up at the sky. At some point, a fast dragon appeared in the sky, staring at itself with scorching eyes. Feel the other person's momentum. Probably at the elite level. The fast dragon in front of me is not a fast dragon in the family. As a quasi-god in the Kanto region, Kuailong is in the hands of the Yulong family. Because the Yulong family possesses a special ability. The power of the imperial dragon. Kuailong loves this kind of power very much. This power can develop the potential of Kuailong, and during battles, it can gain a brief increase in power. So the bond between Kuailong and the Yulong family is strong, and Kuailong also likes to become the main elf of the Yulong family's children. It is difficult for outsiders to obtain it except for members of the Yulong family. There are exceptions to everything. After all, the world is so big, and there are also wild velociraptors. The fast dragon in front of me is wild. Oh, do you want to challenge my fast dragon? Feeling the fighting spirit on Kuailong's body, Yulong couldn't help but laugh. His Kuailong was at the championship level, while his opponent was at the elite level. Courage is commendable, then let's play. Let you take action first, said Yulong. Long is not polite to him, he just came to fight. It flapped its wings fiercely. Boom. The strong wind and earthquake caused the seawater to flow backwards, and with the hurricane, the figure of Long also disappeared. The next second, we have arrived in front of Kuailong. With a fierce grip of both hands, flames enveloped its fist. This is Flame Fist. Punch fiercely towards the fast dragon. So fast. Yulong Ferry was taken aback by the speed, it was too fast to dodge, so it had to be tackled hard. Quick dragon, block it. Kuailong crossed his hands in front of his chest. Dong. A muffled sound. The body of Kuailong was constantly sliding, creating two grooves on the ground and retreating several meters before stopping. Yulong was surprised and looked at Long. This speed is too fast, isn't it? Then, he became excited. This fast dragon has such a powerful potential. He wants it, he wants to conquer it. Kuailong, move at high speed. With a command, the wings of the fast dragon fluttered and swayed slightly, approaching Long's face. Dragon Claw. With a tremor in his right hand, an energy claw envelopes his palm. Long looked at it and with a flick of his wings, he welcomed it. His hand was also filled with dragon claws, but compared to the dragon claws of the Yulong Kuailong. The claws of Long are not attractive enough, just like the difference between a baby and an adult. Dong bang. Two dragon claw skills collide. At the moment of collision, the dragon claws of the Yulong Kuailong were actually directly defeated. Long's dragon claw slammed onto the body of Yulong Kuailong, who was directly thrown into the sea, causing huge splashes of water. Yulong's eyes widened suddenly. He looked at Long's claws in shock and felt it. Then, a tumultuous wave surged within. I can't believe I spoke up. The power of the origin. Thank you to Chen for the handsome 588 VIP reward. Thank you to Daimao Chef for the handsome 1000 VIP reward. Thank you to 3 Mice for the handsome reward and reminder tickets. I've seen many handsome people vote for more reminders, but reminders are a bit expensive. It's better to give a reward of 100 VIP points, which is 1 yuan, to make my reward data look better. Woo-woo, the flowers and evaluation ticket data are so miserable. I saw that you all gave reminders, don't give reminders anymore, it's quite expensive. Let me make some rules for adding more. 2000 flowers. Adding a chapter 500 review votes. Add one more chapter 3 tips, 3 different looks, only 1 yuan is enough to make the data look better. Add an extra chapter, come on. Humph, there's a way to smash me to death with flowers and evaluation tickets. What goes against his promise is the little dog. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Chasing War on the Sea, Betrayal. You are listening at novel full.audio. Yulong Du has a ghostly expression on his face. The power of the origin. How can a fast dragon with only an elite level be mastered? But it has indeed happened. There is nothing that can bridge the gap between champion level and elite level. One's own champion, the fast dragon, can be easily defeated by ordinary heavenly king level Pokémon. Not to mention an elite level fast dragon that is not even a quasi-king. But everything just now flipped over. The champion level Dragon Claw was devastated by the elite level Dragon Claw. There is only one situation where the other party has mastered the power of the source. Only the power of the origin can defeat champion level Dragon Claws. Otherwise, even if one's own fast dragon did not use all its strength just now, it cannot be defeated by an elite level fast dragon. Champion. There is only one for each region. Champion Pokémon are the top combat power under legendary Pokémon. Roar. The fast dragon from Yulong Ferry crawled out of the sea, feeling a bit uncomfortable on its face. The dragon-type skill used to defeat the dragon-type Pokémon was originally a tribute restraint, and with the addition of the Dragon Claw, which is still the original power, the quick dragon suffered considerable damage in this wave. Caught flying by an elite-level fast dragon from the district, the fast dragon from Yulong Ferry let out a low roar. It needs to be serious. Boom. Its momentum erupted, and after experiencing countless battles, the dragon's power, exclusive to the champion elf, rushed towards the silly dragon. Han Long squinted at an angle. Is that all? Is that all? Its dragon power is also released. In an instant, it seemed as if there was an ancient dragon chant coming, as if facing the oldest dragon-type elf. The dragon power of Yulong Du Kuailong was directly defeated. How could the champion-level Dragon Wei be the opponent of Han Long, who has already reached the 3rd level Divine Beast's understanding of dragon rules? Indeed. Indeed, it is the power of the origin. Yulong Du is excited. The dragon power is exactly the same as the legendary dragon power in the family. A fast dragon that has already grasped the power of its origin at the elite level, if spoken out, can make the whole world go crazy. Champion level breakthrough to legendary level. I don't know how many sprites are stuck at this step. Some grow old and die, unable to see the threshold. But now, an elite level fast dragon has already been mastered. This also means that although this fast dragon is at the elite level, it will not have any bottlenecks. As long as it is given time, it can quickly become a legendary level. Even divine beast level elves. Yulong Du wants to figure out what's going on, and is eager to find the answer to why this fast dragon possesses the power of its origin. It is the perception and aptitude of this fast dragon that are terrifying. Or, this fast dragon knows the whereabouts of the ancient divine beast ruins. Both of these answers are crucial to him. At this moment, it is time to subdue this fast dragon. Yulong Du's eyes widened slightly, and his red hair moved without wind. He didn't want any mistakes and directly used the power of the Imperial Dragon. Roar. The champion dragon roared, and the dragon whiskers on its head danced like silver snakes, its momentum skyrocketing. This is the amplification effect of the power of the Imperial Dragon. Kuailong, it has comprehended the origin of the Dragon series, and the dawn of your breakthrough at the championship level lies in it. Be careful of its dragon skills. Its dragon skills are blessed by its dragon origin. If you take a few moves from it, you may not be able to do it. As for its non-dragon skills, their power is not as powerful as the quasi-heavenly king, so there's no need to be afraid. Yulong remained extremely calm, commanding the fast dragon. Chen is completely unaware of what has happened here in Kai City. He didn't know that Han Long had gone out to fight against a regional champion. At this point he is learning about the specific situation of the Tyrannosaurus Rex on the coast of the island. She bang bang. A white beam of light blasted into the sea, like a shell exploding, splashing water and causing the sea to tremble. Is this your strongest skill? Chen touched his chin and said, then this move is called an energy beam. I also have a good understanding of Kuailong road dust. Being able to enter the sea and fly, the scales on one's body are as hard as armor. It has many moves. Can spray water and use high-pressure water cannons. One bite can crush a big stone. There is also a powerful move where the tail is covered by water flow, and a large tree is directly cut off under the tail, flying more than 10 meters. It will also blow tornadoes. However, the strongest move was to spray a white beam of light from his mouth, which he named energy beam. It's like a walking shell, capable of creating a huge crater on the ground with just one shot. Chen is very satisfied. The combat power of the Tyrannosaurus Rex is really too strong, several dimensions stronger than that of the silly dragon and Gulaton. He also gained confidence in exploring the islands. Bang 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 bang. Just as Chen was preparing to go back. On the distant sea surface, two figures were fiercely chasing each other. Upon closer inspection, Chen realized that these were actually two warcraft beasts, and both of them carried a person on their backs. It can be vaguely seen that on the back of the fleeing warcraft in front is a woman with golden hair. The one behind is a man with gray-white hair. Chasing after each other, constantly using skills to attack while chasing. Helona, you better surrender and give me the things that old immortal gave you. The man looked at the backpack on Sherona's back, his eyes showing greed. Nodo, why did you betray the alliance? The woman named Helona turned around and scolded, with anger in her eyes. Chapter 10. Divine Champion, Helona. Mega in. You are listening at novel full.audio. Feeling the anger in Helona's eyes. The man named Nodo seemed to have heard some funny joke. Betrayal. You are that old and immortal granddaughter. He gives you everything, and I am his disciple, but I have nothing. Why? Nodo roared sternly, I know what he gave you, but that old man has been hiding from me and hasn't revealed any information to me. If he had given me this thing, the entire Shin-Ao alliance would have been the talk of our faction. But as for him, as his only disciple, I am not as good as anyone else. Helyona's face was cold. No wonder a backup of the laboratory data was lost. It turns out you did it. Ha ha ha, that's right, it was me who did it, otherwise I wouldn't have known you had such a terrifying thing. So, hand it over and I'll spare your life. Yesterday, I drugged your little elves and they were all asleep. Apart from biting the land shark fiercely, you have no combat power left. And me, all the elves are in their prime, you have no chance of winning. The man grinned grimly, with a slightly insane smile. Grandpa is indeed right. You have a bad personality, and he wants you to experience it and see if you can make any changes. Now it seems that you are hopeless, said Helona expressionlessly. Change. Experience. Then go back and be manipulated by him, holding his stinky feet. After getting this thing, I'm still afraid of the Shin-Ao alliance. Do I need to hold on to that old thing everywhere? Stop talking nonsense, if you don't pay, then die for me. Nodo patted the elf under him and said, blood-winged flying dragon, flame tooth. The elf beneath him let out a low roar, and energy surged through his body. A sharp tooth completely condensed by flames appeared in front of his mouth. The speed of the blood-winged flying dragon surged and charged towards Sherona. Bite the land shark fiercely, dodge. The two once again engaged in a chase battle in the air. Nodo's heart was also anxious, and if he continued to fly, he would soon reach the Kanto region. He doesn't want to face those big families in Kanto. We must fight quickly and make a quick decision. He caught sight of an island not far away and his eyes lit up. He pulled out a Pokemon ball and a white light flashed by. Flying mantis, strike from the side. A green figure darted out. The flying mantis of the Heavenly King level. Zilluona's pressure suddenly increased. Bang bang bang. The sea was constantly being blown up, and the fighting was very intense. They approached the island where Chen was located. On the island. Looking at the two people approaching him rapidly, Chen was also a bit confused. In the blink of an eye, they were already close to the beach. Flying mantis, catch it. The flying mantis caught 1 foot of the fiercely biting land shark, slowing down its speed. Bloody winged flying dragon, use dragon wrath. A energy ball came crashing over and attacked along with its own elf. Bang bang. Smoke and dust filled the air, and flames shot into the sky. In the smoke, 2 body images flew out like sandbags, hitting the coast heavily. Bite the land shark fiercely, are you okay? Looking at the fiercely biting land shark that tightly protected herself from any harm, Zilluona nervously asked. Biting the land shark fiercely, panting heavily, it was hit head-on by the dragon's anger, and it felt a bit uncomfortable. Eat this quickly. Zilluona fed a bottle of wound medicine to the strong biting land shark. Then, she looked not far away and stumbled to her feet, covered in abrasions and burns from the flying mantis. Zairona's eyes were icy cold as she looked at Nodo and said, attack with your own little elf, you're really scumbag. It is correct for my grandfather not to let you know something. If someone like you were to gain that power, it would be the greatest disaster. Ha ha ha, it's not good to bite the land shark and suffer from the dragon's fury, right? How can you fight me now? On the side Chen also developed disgust towards the man and attacked him along with his demon pet. Almost devoid of human nature. Magic pets have human nature, except for not being able to speak, their intelligence is no different from that of humans. In his view, a demon pet is his family, friends, and companions. Having been in this world for half a year, he has been accompanied by these magical pets. Mutual honing, companionship, and support. So, he hates this man from the bottom of his heart. At first glance, it doesn't seem like a good thing. So he plans to help that blonde girl. How about the fierce carp dragon? Can we get through it? Chen asked quietly. Baoli Longyan Cape caught sight of Gulaton walking unsteadily due to the huge commotion just now. It immediately felt certain in its heart. Let out a low growl at Chen. With big shots around, it's not like playing with the other side. Looking at the confident Tyrannosaurus Rex, Chen patted its body. Undoubtedly, it is the strongest combat power in my hands. Since Baoli Dragon has the confidence to hit the opposite side, then Chen will not panic. He spoke to Nodo and said, this is my territory, you are not welcome here. Helona and Nodo were stunned. It was only then that I realized there was actually another person on this uninhabited island. An elite-level Tyrannosaurus Rex. Nodo's eyes flashed with disdain. At the same time he also felt a murderous intent in his heart. The Shineo Alliance did not know that they had betrayed him. They killed Zirona and robbed the treasure, and when they returned invincible, even if they were exposed, it was not in vain. But now, it cannot be exposed yet. In order to prevent information leakage, he plans to kill people and silence them. Flying Mantis, are you okay? He said to the Flying Mantis, take down this kid and the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Zilluona's face changed and she said, this is between us. Don't involve irrelevant people. Do you think I will let the news leak? Nodo sneered, you still have to worry about yourself. Zilluona knew she had nothing to say about this dehumanizing guy. She looked at Lu Chen with an apologetic expression in her eyes, feeling that she had caused trouble for him. However, she won't surrender, no matter how bad it is. She will also rescue this unrelated person. She raised her hand and revealed her fair wrist, which had a wristband with a glass bead-like object embedded at the top. Helona pressed on top of the glass bead and said in a deep voice. Bite the land shark fiercely, Mega Evolution.